try!
Cameron, first of all, are you happy with the resolution today or the outcome?
Well, I don't think we'd be happy because, Cleese is a very disappointing day for people in WA, and I've got an enormous sympathy for what people like Matt Hodgson are going through. He's put a huge amount into that club, and I fully understand, why he's upset. So I'm happy that we've got resolution in the sense that we're now able to proceed with a 15-team competition, which is a far better Super Rugby format than we've had in the past. I'm happy that with the 4-team structure, the Australian teams will be more competitive. But I absolutely, have sympathy for what the rugby fans in WA are going through. This was never going to be an easy situation, and one team was always going to be in a disappointing situation. So absolutely, I've got sympathy for that.
As of their presser this morning, though, they said they still haven't heard from the ARU. Is that still the case, and could you have handled it better?
Well, we've been in constant contact, with Rugby WA right through the process. Obviously, their press conference came off the back of the decision quite quickly. There's been, I think one of the frustrating things here is that there's been a lot of opportunities for Rugby WA. I mean, obviously, we stepped in there and bailed them out, 18 months, 2 years ago because no one else came forward. I'm really, I guess, frustrated and disappointed that there was obviously a desire late in the piece to provide support. I just don't understand why Rugby WA didn't contact Andrew Forrest in April. This would have been maybe a far different outcome. And I'm really also a bit bemused as to when we wrote to Rugby WA on August the 2nd before we made our decision saying, what is your best and final position? They didn't come back with anything substantive. So, I guess I feel for the rugby fans in WA, I particularly feel for the player group, but I guess I'm also really frustrated that there were so many opportunities where we engaged and unfortunately we had to make a decision. Now, once the decision's been made, it's very hard to unpick that decision, and support came after that. But I really say, where was it on August the 2nd, where was it in April, and where was it when we bailed them out 18 months ago? It's frustrating for all people, I think.
Yeah, you said frustrated and bemused. What kind of emotion would you have now, learning that they might be trying to have a bit of a rebel competition?
Oh, I don't have any view on that competition, but I think, it's been a difficult time, I know, but I think, we stepped in there 18 months ago and really we were looking at that point in time for, other people to come out and help them out, and there wasn't. In the end, the RU stepped in, to the tune of many millions of dollars to help the team through. Towards the back end of last year, there were talk and promises of potential backers, and they fell through. Again, I don't know, post-April when we made the decision that we would evaluate 2 teams, why people weren't contacted or come forward at that point in time. The support thing obviously came late, but late support's better than no support, and that's why I guess we're really bemused on August the 2nd when we wrote to Rugby WA. I mean, sort of suggesting we had this sort of made up in February. You don't write to someone on August the 2nd and ask them for a best and final offer if you've actually made your mind up. By no means we had. And I guess we were expecting, obviously a substantive financial package off the back of what we'd read in the press, and obviously that didn't come. There was obviously the offer of interest-free loans and things, but just at that point in time was an inferior package to what Victoria put through, and we had to make a decision. So we made that decision.
How much can Mr Forrest hurt you guys, though? I mean, he's got a bottomless pit of money. The last thing you guys want to do is have a protracted legal hearing. How devastating could that be? Well,
look, we've been, we're not taking great comfort because we're disappointed with the WA fans, but we've been vindicated twice now. In the legal process. We're now looking forward to a competition. There's going to be 4 strong Australian teams. The 15-team format with 3 conferences of 5 is a better format. What's important is we're positioning Australia too for the next broadcast agreement. There's a lot of interest in potentially new competition formats. Well, Australia's best position will be if we're playing well. And we've gone from winning more than 60% of our games to winning around 40% of our games. We need to get that win percentage up, and that'll put us in better shape. And I think the 15-team format, which is more exciting, and the 4 teams of Australia with a greater concentration of talent is going to position us very well.
They've indicated that they may appeal against today's decision, though. What do you make of that, and how long could this continue to drag on for?
Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I can't really comment on what approach they'll take. We've obviously been through a legal process. We've been vindicated 2 occasions, and we'll wait and see what their decision is with regard to appeal.
What do you make of Andrew Forrest's repeated calls for you to step down?
Well, I think that's up to our members. I mean, the members are in a position at any point in time to call a meeting and seek that to occur. The members have actually endorsed me twice this year, in April and again in June at the EGM. We've put this to them. The members support going to a 4-team competition. So, obviously, if the members take a different view, they're more than welcome to. So, at this point, they've indicated they support the ARU and the position we're taking.
Are you concerned at all by the WA government's indications that they may sue the ARU for the money that they've spent on Force headquarters and those kinds
Well,
of things?
again, I can't really comment if there's going to be legal proceedings. We'll just wait and see what happens in that space.
Matt Hodgson said he hasn't had any contact from the ARU. Cameron, would you be prepared to sit down with him and go through this whole process?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, during the legal process, there's been, obviously requests not to engage in talking to players because people are concerned around making sure that we're not approaching players and trying to sign players and other things. We are more than happy to sit down. We absolutely respect the contribution that Matt's made to Australian rugby and to the Western Force in particular, and we're more than happy to sit down with him and take him through some of the underlying rationale behind the decision. Now, that is a genuine offer from us, and we'll definitely do that if that's something he would like to do.
Force players are under pressure to join a rebel league. Would their contracts be honoured by the ARU?
Well, we've obviously, we said all along that we are honouring contracts with the players. We obviously want to work with the players as well. We've obviously providing support to Western Rugby WA employees through the process, but Rupa, obviously, which we are, a supporter of, are providing player support. We'll continue to honour the player contracts. I don't have any view as to what happens if there's some sort of another competition, but certainly we've indicated that the ARU contracts will be honoured.
Sorry, sir, do you mind just take one more, guys, please? So we don't get the back of your head.
Sorry.
All good.
Just on that, he said actually Friday night that he was available. Would it be something that you'd consider this week?
Well, I mean, as soon as we can get, obviously, a whole range of people will be there for the test. I mean, it's obviously a great chance, for the Wallabies against the Springboks. So a number of us will be there, and we'll endeavour to meet him as soon as practical. Yeah.
Sorry, just lastly, do you feel like this has any implication on the Wallabies? Sort of turnout, people wanting to go and support the Wallabies because of what's happening there. Do you think that'll hurt the national team at all?
Well, I think there's always speculation around whether or not what's occurring off the field has an impact on crowds. I mean, the reality is, and crowds have actually been declining in many sports, including rugby, for some years. People go to games if teams are winning and playing well. It's as simple as that. People aren't influenced by off-field decisions in making their choice. And that's one of the challenges that all sports are facing. People have got lots of options, and if they don't feel they're going to see a great game of football, then they don't tend to go. So I think, there's a great opportunity to see the Wallabies. Their performance in New Zealand was outstanding. Obviously, unfortunate right at the end there, but, a real step up from recent years, and so I think there's a great opportunity for fans to go and see games. And we remain committed to work with Rugby WA on making sure there's games of rugby in WA. We've got no change in our view on that. Obviously, taking games to WA is something we're still committed to. If that's something Rugby WA are interested in continuing to support as well.
Just with the other 4 franchises, when do you give them to finalise their rosters, Cameron?
We're not quite sure on that. Obviously, we're working through now what the draw will be as well, but we'll obviously be in a position shortly to work with them on when we finalise the rosters.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.